Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Bard. I'm going to be this month's host of KS&R's Team Spotlight. Usually we do this kind of behind the scenes and type up the answers and share them that way in our newsletter, but we're going to try something different this month. And we have Mike Nash, KS&R's president, with us this month. So welcome, Mike, and thanks for being here.
Great. Glad to be here, and thanks for having me.
All right. So as you know, we usually ask a few questions work related, and then we dive in and get personal. So first question we ask everybody, I think it's important, an important question. So what do you like about, being at KS&R, being the president of KS&R?
Sure. No, there's a lot to like here. Obviously, I've been doing it for a number of years. I think the biggest motivator and inspiration for me every day is that we get to solve problems. Some of those are trivial, admittedly, but many of the problems we're solving for matter a great deal to our clients, and even some of them matter a great deal to society at large. So when you think about the different teams we have and different practices within KS&R, we're doing everything from creating and supporting new medical device innovations in our healthcare practice. We're working on diversity issues and ESG programs and policy for Fortune 100 companies. We're working on pricing strategies and informing some of our retail clients on where to price their services and goods in our retail practice. And then we're also helping companies build pathways to adopt the latest and greatest technologies, whether it be cloud or AI or overall digital transformation plans that, again, are changing business models and the way companies operate. We're also shifting and watching the shift of trends. Mike and your own team, as you know, working on millennials and Gen Zs and Gen Xers, trying to figure out how they consume media and entertainment products, and the rapid shift to new models that didn't even exist 5, 10, 12 years ago. And then also within our transportation group, looking at logistics and supply chain issues that, as everyone feels the crunch right now, are critically important to society, given what's happened to those supply chains. So those are some of the things that I get excited about coming in the office every day and working on some of those challenges and trying to find solutions for those critical issues.
Cool. So KS&R ends its fiscal year this month, October. Looking back at the last year, it's been a big year for us, really. We've had 3 big initiatives, one being Tumble, another being some kind of emotion research that we can do quantitatively that's new. And then we're also started up a internal study, which is not typical for us in that kind of entertainment and media space, looking at different generations. So talk to me a little bit about, what these 3, we'll call them tools and initiatives, bring to our clients.
Sure. No, again, like you said, these are 3 very big investments we made. They've been in the works for a number of months. We did launch them all this year, thankfully, and that was great progress by a lot of different team members to get these stood up and running. On the Tumble side, I think it's really that the tagline around rock solid research with human-centered design approaches, right? So it allows us to think differently, maybe a little bit more creatively about some of the problems that our clients are facing, and really look at those problems through a different lens to try to come up with a solution that maybe wouldn't be quite available in the traditional market research tool set. On the emotion side of things, and the emotion measurement tools, we've known for a long time that decisions are not always rational. Not every decision is rational. Some are more rational than others. And there's other senses at play that help either a business or a consumer make a choice on a certain brand, a certain product, or a certain type of purchase. And I think with the tools we have now on that emotion side, we can look at that. And I think the brands that really have that emotional connection to their customer base really will have the upper hand going forward. And now we get a bit of a view of that and help coach our clients on that emotional aspect. And then finally, you mentioned, again, you're closest to this Gen Z tracker. One of the really few longitudinal things we really have kept going year over year over year really puts a month-to-month view, and allows us to see where that consumption's going, what people are consuming, how they're consuming it. And again, this is a market that everybody wants their hands on, right? The whole universe, it seems, focused on Gen Z some days. But I think it's great to see how their influence is really changing media and gaming consumption. And this tracker that you're running really lets us look at that and try to figure out how to help our clients deal with that issue.
Well, good stuff. It's been a big year for us for sure. Let's switch gears a little bit. We talked a little bit about things at KS&R. Let's talk more about you. So we always come up with a few kind of zinger questions to ask. If you could change one thing about yourself, go back and change one thing about yourself, what would you change?
Ooh, that's a long one. How much time do we have in this interview? I think the one thing I'm looking to be different going forward is really approaching people and challenges and problems with a bit more empathy. I know it's been a buzzword for the last few years in some cases, but it's difficult to really try to help appreciate where other people are coming from and their perspective on things. And I think that's one thing I'm trying to work on. It's a work in progress. I can't say that it's been successful. And we can't all be Ted Lassos and perfectly empathetic with all issues, but that is certainly something that I've got on my agenda that I'm trying to dial up a bit.
Cool. So I'm thinking back, and not to make either of us sound old, but we've worked together for over 20 years now. And back in the earlier days when we were closer to our college years, I know you played college basketball. So are you still playing basketball? What are you doing nowadays, as far as what's your game outside of KS&R?
I've actually threatened a few of the younger new hires, right? We've got about 15 or 20 new hires over the last month here that are a little on the younger side. And I've warned them about our previous KS&R basketball teams, the KS&R soccer teams. So maybe we have to turn those up again. But no, my hardwood days are done. My knees feel a lot better after a round of golf than playing any kind of pickup game. So I am off the hoop courts, and you can find me on the golf course. But I think we should reiterate and relook into getting some KS&R sports teams going once the COVID factor lightens up a bit for us.
Yeah, probably golf is probably safer these days.
I think so.
So one last question for you before we wrap this up. Another deep question here, but if you could know the absolute truth to just one question, what question would that be?
Yeah, I'll kind of double down on the emotion angle, right? I think if we could really know how people feel, that would be open up a key to a lot of issues. So I think it's all around that feeling and how people feel with maybe a 1A or a second follow-up as to why they feel that way. And in most cases, that is the gist of what we're trying to do here at KS&R, right? Understand why people are acting in certain ways. And if we can understand why they feel a certain way, that would lead us to some conclusions and maybe even projections and predictions about how they'll act in the future. And then for a lot of our clients, that's a big mystery, and that's what we're trying to help them solve.
Well, thank you very much. We'll take you off the hot seat, and appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to do this with us.
Thank you. Have a good one. Take care, Mike.
Thanks.